Good evening YouTube, I'm PTT and welcome back to another Division 2 video. Today I want to talk about a few things that have been fairly big talking points in the Division community of late. To be honest, at this point it's kind of more like a wish list of things we hope are in the game as of day one and less helpful feedback. We're getting fairly close to launch now. I know it's only December, but you think about it, it's 3 months, so there's not actually a lot of actionable time to make anything into the game if it's not already there. So, you know, with this list, if it's not there day one, I think, you know, it's highly likely we're going to have to wait for future DLC for them to be added. With that aside, let's look at the top 5 things I hope are in the Division 2 day one, and then let's look at some of the community feedback to this exact question I put out on Twitter a few days ago. So up first, let's start with something that I personally feel has to be there day one as more of a lesson learned from the Division 1 than anything else, and that is commendations. Now, the reason for me these have to be there day one is basically they add a layer to the game that can't really be added in any other way. Commendations automatically add replayability, they add meaningful grind right from the outset, and they could also be a way to add things in game like more customizations and other things that can all be accessed day one. The other good thing about commendations is that they can always be updated and added to, and this is yet another way to keep giving players something to do, and can even be used as small title updates in between major content updates to keep the game from feeling dry if there are ever any content droughts. We saw this work very well in the Division 1, and if I'm honest, I think the overall community received the introduction of commendations very well. So yeah, needless to say, I think this is an absolute must, and I will personally be highly disappointed if we log in day one and find that commendations never made the cut. Next, another massive community talking point, and a must if I'm honest, is the introduction of a photo mode. Ubisoft have had very good photo modes in games like Assassin's Creed for the past few years, and newer titles like Far Cry 5 have had them in game 2, so a 2019 title like the Division 2 has to have this. The Division 1 had an amazing looking world, and the community found very creative ways to show that off, but if there was a built-in photo mode, then this would be very well received by the majority of the game's fan base. Next, number 3, detailed clan support. Now, we know for a fact that Division 2 will have clan support, but how far that support goes is still a mystery. Now, I hope that they delve deep into the support, and there are a number of things that I hope make the cut. For starters, I hope we get a clan list, similar to Destiny, where you can see all your clan members online. Next, I hope that there is a progression system to clans that will offer up rewards on a weekly basis if certain criteria is met. Next, I hope that there is clan-specific loot that will make our agents stand out. Then there is in-game clan tags, in-game clan wars, possibly, again, you know, all offering unique rewards, who knows. Bottom line, guys, I just want clan support to be in-depth, rewarding and meaningful. I mean, if it turns out just to be a basic system where you get to have a tag next to your name on it, I don't really see the point in it actually being there. So, you know, if that is the case and that's how it comes out, it might not even be worth it being in game at all. Clans should be something that embrace and reward, and I hope that the dev team really look into how other games offer up clan rewards and leveling to make the Division 2 a welcoming place for people to form teams and experience the game with their friends, all while being under one clan banner and being rewarded for doing such. Number 4, open world activities / challenges. Now, we should all know that many Ubisoft titles have in-game challenges. These are community challenges that roll out on a regular basis, and they offer up rewards to all members of the community that partake. I really hope that this makes its way into the Division 2, and we start to get community challenges like, I don't know, 10 million headshots in a week, and they come with some unique rewards that when gone won't come round for a very long time. I'd also like to see in-game activities that see the wider community take part. Think of these like special events, a one weekend only event similar to the double XP cash weekends we have, but on a larger scale. Imagine having a boss turn up for a weekend that is heavily armoured. You have to do a few side missions, collect some intel, get a location on him before heading out and taking him down, and again receiving some unique items that are unobtainable anywhere else. Again, these are just kind of chain of thoughts, guys. I'm not actually tied down to any specifics here, just the fact that I hope we have some kind of community challenges and some form of special open world event. Think how we have monthly supply drops in the Division 1 now, but bigger and better and offering up unique rewards. And number 5 on my list is meaningful endgame. We all know that after the first week of Division 1, when players started to hit level cap, we all started to run out of things to do very quickly. Now, we also know that Massive have learned a lot from the community over the past few years, so here is to hoping that day 1, the Division 2 has some meaningful content when we hit the level cap that will keep us busy until such time we get raids and other endgame content. I would hate to see a relapse to the Division 1 where we level up, have a great experience playing through the game, to said cap, and then run out of things to do for several months until new content drops. Now, I would like to think that Massive will have already thought about this and there will be plenty of things to do when we finish the main story, but it never hurts to keep reiterating it so it gets into people's head that we need content and that content has to be good if you want us to keep playing it. And that pretty much summarises my personal top 5 wish list for the Division, guys. Now, I could go on and on and on about things I hope make it into game, but instead of this, I decided to actually ask a small amount of those Division people that follow me on Twitter what they had to think about it and what they would like to see make it into game. And some of the answers were indeed very interesting. So, without further ado, let's have a look at some of those now. First up, we have more in-game lore. Of course, we all love lore. We all like to know a bit more about the backstory of what's going on in-game. So, tick, yep, I am definitely happy with this. More rewarding PvP experience. Now, this is definitely something I can get behind as someone who loved the Dark Zone in the early stages of the Division, but went off it very quickly as it changed over the years. I would definitely like to see a rewarding PvP experience brought in with the Division 2. Number 3, survival. Now, honestly, guys, this showed up an awful lot from people, right? A lot of us that play the Division do love survival. It is something I hope makes it into the Division 2, but if I'm 100% honest, I do not see this coming day 1. I think it will be an addition later down the line. Next, we have an online API manager. For those who don't know what this is, think very similar to Destiny Item Manager. You know, an external app where you can get stashed out of your gear, change it from one character to another character. It's not really a must, but it is definitely a way of life improvement that could be very good if implemented. Next, we have meaningful loot grinds, and what this means, guys, is loot not being thrown at you, okay? I think we can all agree that, you know, towards the tail end of the Division 1's lifespan, loot started to get thrown at you relatively easily in comparison to when the game first came out. Now, I was personally a fan of having to grind certain activities and missions to get certain bits of loot. I know a lot of other people weren't, but, you know, it's one of them. I think it is a very fine line, but I definitely would like to see loot not being thrown at us every 2 seconds in the Division 2 and an element of grind and, you know, keep playing, do certain activities, do this for that, do that for something else. That's what I hope we get. We'll have to wait and see. Next, activity-specific loot. Now, I actually spoke about this when I did my raid video. If you haven't seen that yet, I will link in the video description. But activity-specific loot, again, going back similar to how the Division 1 was when it first launched, and we got incursions, and if you wanted certain gear sets, you had to do Falcon Lost. And then when other incursions came out, you had to go and do those for other bits of gear. I would love to see activity-specific loot. I don't want to see loot that you can get anywhere and everywhere in certain activities. You know, I want to be able to do the raids and whatever other endgame content may be in the Division 2, and I want to see them have something specific drop there that you can't get anywhere else, that you can equip on your agent. You can, you know, you can show off with it. That is kind of... that is why we replayed the same thing again and again and again. You know, it's to get a bit of loot that won't drop. It's to get a weapon that won't drop. It's to get a certain skin or, you know, a certain cosmetic item that makes our character look different to everybody else so that we can strut around in some area and show off and say, hey, look at me. You know, I've done this X amount of times and I finally got this thing to drop. And that is definitely something I hope makes it into the game. Next, and finally, from the community point of view, then we have a better trading system. Now, me, personally, I think the trading system works very well in the Division. There are a few way of life minor changes that could be made to make it better. But overall, you know, I think they hit the nail on the head with the trading system. I do think a lot of other games could actually benefit from a trading system like this, where it is fair. If you're in a team and you do an activity together, you can share the loot, but you can't get someone come in from the outside to get the loot that hasn't exactly done the activity. But yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents on the trading system, guys, okay? Like everything, I would, of course, love to know your thoughts down below. Now, there were a few more things brought up by people when I tweeted this question out, but if I was to list them all, we would literally be here for quite a long time. So what I would like to do now, guys, is pass the question off to you and ask you guys what would be your top 3 must-haves for the Division 2 Day 1. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully we can all have an interesting discussion on the topic in the comment section down below. As always, let me thank you for taking the time to watch this. Have a great evening, and until the next one, I'll catch you all soon.